Reading it loud and clear. The clock has started. The clock has started.
Action! What's up, everybody? It's time for MovieBlab. That's right, MovieBlab with Matt Cragg and David Maire. I'm your host, Andrew Edison, and today we're going to be talking about the best and worst Scientologist actors. Praise be!
Welcome to this podcast. Spread the word.
What's up, everybody? It's time for another dandy ep. And I'm joined today by two dandy fellas. We've got Matt Cragg. Matt Cragg, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready to kick some Thetans out of my body, and I'm ready to go clear, buddy.
Destroy the Thetans. We're gonna go clear, guys. It's gonna be so therapeutic and spiritual. Okay, we've got David Maire. David Nightmare, how are you, buddy, Mr. Nightmare?
Praise Xenu.
Xenu forever. That's what it really looked like you were doing. Okay, guys. This is gonna be a fun one. We're being, we like to be original with our movie lists and our exploration of films in Hollywood. So today we have decided to do our first best and worst. This is the first form of this kind of episode we've ever done, so I'm super excited. Basically how it works, the theme today, to start us out, is Scientologist actors, which is great because we're all Scientologists, guys, right?
Well, I'm definitely not Jewish.
Listen, as long as all you suppressive people get out of my life, I'm good. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we're not going to call it Scientology. We're going to call it Mayentology. Well, guys, we've got a hell of a delay, but probably because I have a bunch of programs open that I shouldn't. Closing them right now, and I'm gonna hang up on y'all real quick. But then we're gonna get to Hollywood, and we're gonna get to Scientology. It's good. Frozen in time, and there.
Closing revenge porn.
Well, all we got was revenge porn, buddy.
Nice.
That's good. Sounds like a great mini conversation y'all had while I hung up on you.
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, so Scientology. Guys, there's so much talent here.
Listen, you can't really talk about Hollywood without talking about Scientology. It's kind of impossible. Some of California's biggest A-list stars, are involved in some level or another within the Church of Scientology. So it's something that us here at MovieBlab we're eventually going to have to dive into. Yes,
and I think it's important that people, educate themselves on the realities of how influential and incredible the impact of Scientology has on both the individuals like us and both the people who, well, let's just say they're suppressive and they need to be disconnected with. So it's a time
they
reflect.
They need a couple auditing sessions.
Yes, and we have some great examples of the potential you can reach. Right?
It's unbridled. It's unlimited.
I mean, look at these successful people. Wow.
You got a great cast of characters here. Of course, Mr. Tom Cruise is chilling out there in the water.
Classic.
Oh, we got Tom Cruise, guys. We've got the
John Travolta.
I want to say Elizabeth Warren, but it's not Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Moss.
We got Elizabeth Moss. She's here.
What if Senator Elizabeth Warren was a Scientologist? That would be a big get for.
I don't think she would be senator. I would hope she wouldn't. I'm just kidding. I hope she would because I love Scientology. Right, guys?
Hey, Sonny Bono, toward the end of his life, was elected to the United States House of Representatives, and he was a Scientologist. So.
Oh, what? Sonny Bono?
Yeah.
Wait, he was also a musician, right? Sonny and Cher?
Yeah. Sonny Bono of Sonny and
I
Cher.
did not
Yeah.
know that he was, and he did a few movies.
Yeah, and he eventually, toward the end of his life, was elected to the United States House of Representatives, and then died in a tragic skiing accident.
Oh, God.
That's what they want you to believe.
He must not have gotten all his thetans out.
Maybe not. Who else we got here? We got
we got lots of people. We got
the incomparable Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis, of course, is over here, behind on this side. She's they're all catching waves on their way. They're just having a free swim during their time on the Sealebrity Seaborg, Sealebrity Seaborg, which
Orgre.
Yeah. And they decided, you know what? Let's have fun. Coronavirus. Let's jump in the water and swim together. This, I'm sure they don't believe in it. So.
We got Mr. John Travolta nibbling on L. Ron Hubbard here over there.
Sorry, Mo-Ron Hubbard.
Mo-Ron Hubbard.
Yes, that's Mo-Ron Hubbard over there. A beloved character and a beloved performer. He did a movie called The Master that was really good before his untimely death. So, yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. L. Mo-Ron.
Scientology.
For the record, that's the first sound effect I've used this whole time. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Scientology. It's got a dense history.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole thing kind of took off when Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard wrote a book called Dialectics, which he thought was going to be...
Was it Dianetics?
Dianetics,
right.
What did I say? Dialectics.
Yeah, it's okay. I didn't want you to catch a thetan by saying the name wrong.
I appreciate that.
It's okay.
He wrote a book called Dianetics, and he thought it was going to make him rich and well received within the community of psychology, but they thought it was a fad, and from then on sort of took the teachings of Dianetics and reworked them into the Church of Scientology. All the while he was avoiding the IRS, the U.S. government.
Yep.
And at one point even went out to sea with
like
a number
Nicolas
of...
Cage. He avoids he avoids taxes. We did a great Nicolas Cage episode where we celebrated and defended Nicolas Cage in a court of public opinion, didn't we, Cragg?
Yes, that's true.
It's done very well on the charts.
That's true.
On our
So I guess you could describe this podcast, this live stream as being against the IRS.
Yeah, we don't pay our taxes because we don't make any money. But if you guys want to go, speaking of that, if you guys want to go to patreon.com, that's right, you can help us, and we still won't have to pay taxes. In fact, this will be a donation from you if you're willing and able to support the show for $1 to $2 to $3 a month. We would love that. Anyway, back to the show.
That was a nice quick plug. That was good.
Thank you. It just came up, so.
Yeah, so L. Ron went out to sea with some of his loyal followers and
so
kind of, yeah, just sort of went by the rule of pirate law and just sort of did whatever he wanted to out in the sea and just sort of figured the U.S. government couldn't get him out there.
Yeah.
Eventually, they were no longer allowed at ports along the Mediterranean, so he came back to the United States, snuck ashore in Florida, where he lived until his death.
Oh, wow. Well, why was he... Yeah, okay, I see.
In hiding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there have been a lot of great leaders who have had to hide,
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine.
He wasn't in quarantine? So he self-isolated back then.
He was
he was practicing social
distancing. He knew it was
distancing
going to happen.
when he was living in hiding. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the
Man
prophecy has
before
come
time.
true. The coronavirus is the main reason I've converted.
But once he passed, the Church of Scientology was then taken over by a man named David Miscavige, who really exploded and expanded the church into what it is today, and allowed them to eventually get a tax exemption status from the IRS, and they've now exploded into one of the fastest growing and wealthiest churches in the world.
Ah, yay!
Huzzah!
As they say in Scientology, huzzah!
Ah.
Huzzah! And to a million billion planets, we welcome you to MovieBlab, to this MovieBlab audit of the best and worst Scientologist actors. David, what do you know about Hollywood? Because I know a few things about Hollywood and Scientology. For example, why don't we just go through the list and let people know kind of who is a Scientologist? You know?
Oh, absolutely.
What people are Scientologists?
Should we go backwards? Should we start with the actors nowadays, or should we start with the first ones, the ones that kind of permeated?
Well, we are doing some history, and I do have one more classical music song, so perhaps we should start with the first founders who really helped bring Hollywood to Scientology and Scientology to Hollywood.
Fantastic.
I know that Tom Cruise is a big proponent. We know that many don't know that Elizabeth Moss is a Scientologist. Many don't know that Juliette Lewis is a Scientologist. Most people know that John Travolta is a Scientologist. And then there's everyone else. Who are they, David?
That's a great question. Well, let's start with some of these folk that you've already mentioned, like Mr. Cruise, for example. Mr. Cruise, when he was growing up, really suffered from dyslexia. And he claims that L. Ron Hubbard and Dianetics really helped him surpass that need.
That's probably because the book helped him read. You know, he learned to read when he read the first book.
That's a big thing with Dianetics, is they help you overcome sicknesses and ailments, and also like traumas.
Oh, good.
So L. Ron Hubbard said that the teachings of Dianetics, he said that when he was in the war, he injured his back and was blinded, but that's and that Dianetics helped bring back his sight and cure his back.
Oh, what? That's
it's
incredible.
Crazy.
A medical,
Isn't it just?
It's magic, and it's true magic. It's science
Scientology.
Magic. It's magic science.
Yeah.
It's Scientology. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, just don't look into his military records, and
No
story.
No need to do that.
No need to do that.
And similarly, John Travolta. I mean, John Travolta, he lost a son. He lost a son to some really severe kind of strange epilepsy, and
it's almost
Travolta,
like. Go ahead.
He's claimed that he couldn't have gotten past the grief and moved on if it hadn't been for the church. So the church can really help in so many different ways.
Yeah, it's almost as if people who have gone through serious traumas in their life seem to gravitate towards this incredible religion. It seems like they really encourage people who have had a rough time at it to come and cure their thetans, you know?
Well, if you have a lot of thetans attached to your soul, then it would only make sense that you're going to be subject to more trauma, to more unhappiness, to more different kinds of diseases.
It's true, because the thetans, when they attach themselves to you, they bring all of the weight and trauma of their past lives and attach themselves to you as a small child. So that's why you have to go through the auditing sessions to kick the thetans out of your body and move past it.
Yeah.
I guess if we're talking about thetans, we can't talk about thetans without talking about Xenu.
I think it is time to speak of Xenu.
Yeah, so Xenu was, according to L. Ron Hubbard, Xenu was the dictator of the Galactic Confederacy. who 75 million years ago was in charge of Earth-like planet that was a lot like Earth in the 1950s. But they also had a massive overpopulation problem. So, sensing that he might lose control, Xenu packed up billions of people and put them onto space jets that looked a lot like DC-8 aircraft.
Oh, cool.
Flew them to Earth.
Oh, what? Hold on.
Stacked them in volcanoes and killed them with hydrogen bombs.
Oh my gosh.
And then the particles that were released from after these people were killed by the hydrogen bombs sort of floated around the Earth, and those are called thetans. Oh. And when a human is born, these alien immortal spirits invade your body, and they're actually the cause of spiritual harm in you. So you have to get a lot of obsession to get rid of things. And of Scientology. You don't
Makes
actually.
sense to me.
Yeah. You guys, I'm letting you guys in on a little secret, because usually you would have to be an operating Thetan level 3.
Thank you.
In Church of Scientology,
yes.
to come into this kind of information.
Yeah.
The church does avoid mention of Xenu in public stations.
Oh no, we made a mistake.
Yeah, it comes out every once in a while. But a lot of this is, it's been leaked via court documents and copies of Hubbard's notes, and people that have reached that level in the church and have since become suppressive people again and have been disconnected.
Yes, as they should be. It's important that people. I'm only through the first half of the first book. Quarantine's been a really spiritual time for me, and it's really helped me realize. It's not easy for everyone, but this is really helping me get through it. This podcast and Scientology, and I'm getting meetings as a filmmaker now. I'm getting all people I've got brand new representation via a boutique Scientologist agency that I'm not even supposed to talk about, and so it's really exciting to be writing and to have been hired to write the first Xenu movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
a lot of work.
That's a big deal.
It's a lot of work. I got the first page.
I hope you remain honorable to the original source material.
Yeah, they told me that if I gave them $1 million, they'd let me make it for $5,000.
Ooh,
so
sweet deal.
I'm really excited about that.
What's your favorite part then so far?
Of the book?
Yeah, this first half. Has it been a page turner?
Yeah, it's mainly about Mo-Ron Hubbard, which was L. Ron's brother, little known twin brother, who was kept in a closet, and so.
A lot of the information, a lot of these things seem to be kept in the closet, like this level 3 information usually.
Yes, level 3 information and level 9 information. Oh,
no, that's just deeper in the closet you go.
Yeah, they take you into a room.
You got to keep going through the levels.
Yeah, I just can't wait. That's why I started looking up, some of the spoilers.
Well, I think what's important to realize too, as you're going through the levels in the Church of Scientology, is to know that everything good that happens in your life is because of Scientology.
Yes.
And everything bad that happens in your life, that's your fault. That's on you.
Yeah.
The church, if you weren't such a suppressive personality.
Mm-hmm.
Bad things wouldn't happen to you. So you have to keep paying the church money to keep advancing through the levels.
Yes.
To truly open your third eye and experience the power of L. Ron Hubbard's teachings.
I think this is a great time for our humble little podcast to say, the opinions expressed on this show are nothing more than the opinions and observations expressed under the authority of the U.S. Constitution and its specific and general legal amendments.
Talk about amendments. We'll talk about the First Amendment, freedom for religion.
Yes. which is the reason that we are here today, gathered on the dock, the dock of the SS movie Org Blab.
Movie Org Blab.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be here aboard as a member of MovieBlab Sea Org or Sea Org MovieBlab or MovieBlab Org.
I'm gonna get a little seasick. The dock isn't. It's old as Hubbard.
You'll
it's
get
old
your
as Mo-Ron.
You'll get your sea legs here soon enough when we're out on the high seas avoiding the IRS.
It's coming. Hey, over here, guys. Guys, we're over here. We got Tom Cruise. He should be a priority, right? Hello?
Tom is 100% a priority.
Tom said I could ride his back, and it would take him only 5 minutes to get to the... I could ride on his back and take him only 5 minutes to get there, because he knows how to dolphin swim. So...
He's a jacked little man. Yeah. 5 feet tall. He loves that Scientology. Look at him go. Did you know that after his publicist left him due to a little spat he had because of being Scientologist, his sister actually signed on to be his publicist, and his sister is also a Scientology member?
Oh, all in the family.
Keep it in the family, exactly.
Yes. Well, maybe that's because she wanted to stay. She wanted to stay connected with him, and still have him return her phone calls.
Listen, there have been a lot of suppressive people that Tom Cruise has had to disconnect from his life.
Yeah.
Because they weren't good for Scientology.
His daughter, Shuri. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. Brat. I mean, 2 of his ex-wives, both Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes.
Yep. It's a make or break for most of these celebs, as I think once you spend a couple mil on a religion, it's hard to want to walk away.
He almost left in the late 90s when he was shooting Eyes Wide Shut. Because he was in London, like away from the church, with Nicole Kidman, who was not a Scientologist, and Stanley Kubrick. And notoriously, that was a very long film shoot that they were in London.
So he almost pulled out of it.
Almost 2 years. Yeah, so he was away from the church only 2 years, but then Scientology had him come back around to his senses and divorce Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
And because of that, they gave him a girlfriend.
Aw, he got a free girlfriend? God, what a nice church.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like,
cheers.
Scientology, if they're giving out girlfriends, give me a call.
That sounds like, that's, I mean, why do you think I purchased the first volume? It's time, guys. I've actually been in this Church of Scientology for real, twice.
Really?
Yeah, with 2 different friends.
How far did you get?
Talking in a similar way. Oh, we got to see some movies.
Which one did you go to?
I've been to the one in New York, and I've been to the one in California, I want to say.
I was going to say, Andrew, because
Will Fordyce and I went to the one in New York.
Andrew, when we lived in Los Angeles, both of us lived just blocks away from the big blue Hollywood Center.
We sure did. I would walk by it every day. And I would see them on their way, and I always thought, wow, that's weird. But then I started reading the text. That's when I started to change my mind, guys. Plus,
I thought it was weird for the longest time, too, until I lived in L.A. for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. And I was like, I like their outfits. They have cool outfits, and they all wear the same one. It's like very subtle, great look. They look like waiters, So.
They do. There's also a great brunch spot across the street from the Scientology building in California. They have really good chilaquiles. I liked going there for their chilaquiles.
Well, when I move to the church, I will check that out if they let me.
Please do.
Yeah, guys, if you're just tuning in, we're getting to our best and worst Scientologist actors. That's right. But we're gonna do that after the break. Before we go anywhere, we have 2 special celebrity guests swimming ashore around the dock with us. Great guests, fantastic guests, best guests, and we're gonna see Actually, let's do that after the break. Let's maybe reveal our first, our best, our favorite Scientologist actors. Unless there's anything more, if you guys could dive into a little more history, I could probably get this bit going. Oh, I can't hear you anymore. That's weird.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
okay.
on mute there for a second.
Oh, no worries.
David and Andrew, I'm not sure how much y'all know about Church of Scientology's gold base.
Oh, I'd love to know about the gold base. No, I know nothing of that, and I have because obviously I'm just still reading. So go for it.
So it is an external site that they have away from their main centers. It's in Southern California, but on the gold base, there's a thing called the Hole. And in the Hole is where David Miscavige would send top Scientology executives when they were displaying suppressive attitudes, or they were acting as if they were going to be suppressive people. And so they would go into the Hole, which was essentially it's a double-wide trailer, and they would fight each other. That they would have top Scientology executives punch and fight each other to prove their dedication to the Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
And people have likened them to like CIA black sites, that these guys are being held against their will there. Sometimes they would be there for months, even years. What the president of Scientology was known to be is thought to be held there for at least 7 years.
Wow.
At the behest of David Miscavige. But I think we should implement something like that for MovieBlab.
Oh.
Maybe after the quarantine is over, Andrew, you could decide if someone's being a bad guest, or if they're displaying suppressive tendencies.
Oh, that would really help the show.
Lock them into a double-wide trailer with other bad guests.
Easy.
And they beat the shit out of each other.
That's awesome, dude. I love Fight Club, too, and Scientology. So that's like two of my interests meeting up together.
And some people say it was bad, but a lot of these guys have since said that, that they wanted to be there, or have even denied the existence of the Hole entirely.
And it's kind of like Fight Club in that respect, right? You don't really talk about the gold membership.
Exactly. So it's just like a Scientology Fight Club kind of thing they had there. And, some people would call it being held against your will. Other people would call it good, clean fun.
Matt, do you hear that cool music? David, do you hear that cool music?
Oh, that music does sound pretty awesome.
It sounds like an anthem for a friend of mine. I reached out, and surprise, guys, I nailed a guest that you won't even believe, that many shows on cable and I mean, big Hollywood movies can't even get. He's here, everyone. Let me introduce Tom Cruise. Oh my God. Tom, I can't believe you're joining us. This is incredible. How are you, Tom?
How you doing, Tom?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
It's so good to see you. We've never met, but this is an honor. I mean, I imagine that the feed is blowing up right now that I got Tom Cruise on my show.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I know we haven't met in person, but I feel through Scientology, we know each other.
Oh,
We're connected on a cosmic level beyond the physical plane.
Oh my God.
That's new.
Hear that, Tom.
I feel the Thetans getting shot out of me right as you say that.
Get him out. Get him out.
Thank you so much. Tom, you make incredible films that everyone loves, yet you also make giant contributions to the cause of Scientology. How proud are you of your legacy?
It's not just my legacy. It's all of our legacy.
Great.
It's for everybody.
I couldn't agree more.
For Elron.
With
Mo-Ron.
With Scientology, first of all, for Elron. He started it. He blessed us with this. The thing about Scientology is you know you have to do something. The energy inside you, when you drive by and you see some trouble, or if there's something that Scientology needs from you, you get up. You know how to act. You know how to change reality itself.
Yes. Oh, God, you obviously are so... you must be at the top level
I'm graced to be knowledgeable. Scientology is more than people allow it to be for them. You have to open up and free your mind. Scientology, the two words, scient and ology, is the study of knowledge.
Tom, I think you're being a little humble.
Yeah.
Because David Miscavige has described you as the most important figure in all of Scientology, who has spread the word of L. Ron Hubbard to over 1.1 billion people across the world.
Yes.
I know, but that's not enough. You have to understand that there is still more out there. People need to know about Scientology, and until we get to 100% of the people on the planet embracing Scientology, my job's not done.
You're right. You're so right, Tom. And I'm glad to know that you're going to continue supporting and pouring your efforts into this important cause. Right, the other way, guys. Other way, guys. Other side. Yep, there we go.
We salute you, Mr. Cruz.
We salute you, Mr. Cruz. But Mr. Cruz, you actually might be surprised because I think I have a surprise even for you. I think if because you are the top thetan, or not the top thetan, the top level, I need you to invoke Mo-Ron for us. To see if Mo-Ron can come and visit us at MovieBlab, his ghost, his spirit, his alien form.
I call to you, Mo-Ron. Let your presence be known from OT10. Come down.
Praise Mo-Ron. Praise be to Mo-Ron. Come, Mo-Ron. Oh my God. I think he's coming, guys. I think he's here. I feel his presence. Don't you guys? Do you feel the presence of Mo-Ron?
It's tingling through my entire body.
Ooh,
Oh,
give me the shivers.
Here he comes. Here he comes. I can feel his presence. I think I hear
salute our leader.
I think I hear his voice. Oh my God. He's arrived. It's Mo-Ron. How are you, Mo-Ron? Mo-Ron? Are you there, Mo-Ron? Mo-Ron. Speak,
Sometimes
Mo-Ron.
It takes a little time for the body to connect with the physical realm again.
I see what's happening.
Like a dial-up internet connection, that makes sense.
I mean, he's coming from tens of thousands of miles away.
Are you there, Mr. Hubbard?
Is that you, Andrew?
Yes, it is, sir.
Or so you think.
Oh, wow. Whoa. What does that mean, Mr. Mo-Ron Hubbard?
That means I've been listening to you all. Thousands, millions, trillions of years before MovieBlab was ever conceived.
Oh, wow.
And might I say that for non-Scientologists, you have a speck of the truth, which, compared to most humans or non-Scientologists, is not a bad thing.
Well, how does it feel to be reunited with one of your beloved heroes and your biggest supporters, Tom Cruise, right here live on the internet?
Oh,
Tom,
I'm lucky.
Tom sits at my right side, and he knows that. Now, Tom, as was mentioned, 1 billion Earthlings have been converted and have heard the message because of you. And while I want to give you praise, we must see the goblet of all-knowing as only 1/7 full at this point.
The goblet of all-knowing.
The goblet of all-knowing.
Tom, did you know about the goblet of all-knowing? Or is are we hearing new tenements right here on MovieBlab, the newest?
This is the next stage.
Oh my God.
The goblet of all-knowing has only been mentioned in lore And I can't believe that I've heard it straight from your mouth.
And tonight on MovieBlab, it is revealed.
Oh my gosh.
What's more, Andrew?
Yes? Speak loud.
MovieBlab is part of the Scientological mission. Anybody who makes movies, anybody who talks about movies in Hollywood, you are a missionary for Scientology.
Wow. Wow.
And
I
know
think the
this.
audience is converting.
And it seems as if Elrond is having a hard time coming into his true bodily form, as his nose seems to be where his eyes.
Oh, but it looks
should
good.
be.
It looks really good.
Young man, might I
Yes,
add,
sir. Yes, sir.
that is done deliberately.
Oh, of course.
To
I would never
diminish.
question you, sir.
The importance to diminish the whole illusion of the body. Because as MovieBlab knows, what goes on beyond, what transcends all corporal illusion and temporal is the cinematic truth, the Hollywood truth, through the lens of Scientology.
Aye,
Wow.
aye, Captain.
And the goblet of all knowing.
Yes, more about the Goblet of All Knowing, please.
This is canon.
Will not be full until everyone on Earth has watched every movie that is directed or stars every Scientologist. And once that happens,
Oh.
once all frames have been watched by all people,
Oh my gosh.
the truth will be correctly, for the first time, framed.
You mean I have to
Through
watch
Hollywood.
every episode of My Name is Earl?
Just for
Including
stars,
the
yes.
credit sequence?
Yes. Well,
Wow.
now's the time. That's why I've come. We have the time now. The
We
pandemic
do.
was sent.
Watch
The
all the
pandemic-
Scientology movies.
Yes.
I
Now
understand.
you get it.
Watch all the Scientology movies. Watch all the Scientology movies. Watch all the Scientology movies.
There we go. See, Andrew is converting.
But, Mr. Hubbard, does that mean I have to watch Michael Pena movies too?
I'll leave that one not required, but optional.
I appreciate your leniency on
However-
that one.
The essentials. Everything with Tom, everything with John Travolta,
That's fair.
everything with Kate Moss, and believe it or not, paradoxically, for she fits into the grand scheme.
Tom Cruise
That-
is loving this.
The Leah lady. Even she,
Even she.
because she could not handle the mission, but she contains part of the puzzle. Think of every movie as a puzzle piece, and once you see every movie, the puzzle is complete.
I see it. All the elements of Scientology.
Yes.
We need to shoot.
Yes.
Only I could get them to fit together. Every time I reach for a piece, it goes away.
Andrew.
You must go beyond. You must.
Yes.
You must go beyond matter and energy, space and time.
Now that I passed out on the floor, I totally understand what you're talking about.
Yes,
Wow.
Andrew. Basically, Andrew, it's this, and MovieBlab is the first to get this. Okay, this is my message to the world right now.
Yes.
In order to see clear, you must movie binge the right movies and let it be with the Scientologist. And
Yes.
once you have seen those movies, you will no longer grasp for illusions, for you will have the goblet of truth right there in front of you.
Will
The
it be
goblet
filled?
of all knowing.
The
Will it be
goblet will be
filled?
full of gold, right?
Mhm.
The prophecy has been foretold that one day a being beyond will come down and speak of a vessel that needs to be filled, and I had no idea it would be here and now. Thank
Yes!
you.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Thank you guys. Wow. Well, for those of you just tuning in, we just had a very spiritual experience. I have been converted to Scientology officially without even finishing the first book by Tom Cruise and Philip Seymour Hoffman and by Hubbard. And I want to thank you guys.
Andrew.
Yes.
We didn't do it. You did it.
That's right, guys. I did it. Oh, my God. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back with a little more because we got to break down our best and worst Scientologist actors. I want to thank L. Hubbard Hoffman and Tom Cruise, Angry Tom Cruise. We love you guys, and please come back on the Blab at any time. Okay?
Oh.
All right,
We'll
we're going to be
always
right
be
back,
there.
guys, after this break. I'm here with David Nightmare and Matt Cragg and a ton of Scientologist celebrities, and we are breaking down our best and worst Scientologist actors right after this, so stay tuned. It's a spiritual and amazing and very moving episode. We'll be right back with more MovieBlab. That's right, guys. This is our Patreon.com. I already explained what it is, so please consider donating. Thank you.
Will, how we doing? Hey, Andrew, I wasn't sure where I was because I can't see the screen, so I was trying to keep my face like.
We're coming back, guys. MovieBlab. MovieBlab. Not yet, but soon. Oh, not yet, but soon. We're gonna be back with some more Scientology actors. We're gonna talk more about Mo-Ron Hubbard. We're gonna talk a little bit about Hollywood and how it loves Scientology. Oh, yeah. We're coming at you real soon. Coming at you real soon, real soon. Stay tuned, we're coming at you soon. Oh, yeah, we're gonna even look at the comments, so make sure you leave comments, because I can look at comments. Get at us in the comments. Cragg, maybe you could pull up the comments, too, if you wanted to. If you wanted to pull, we got a lot of, I don't know, I think we got some comments, I don't know. Here we go, guys, we're coming. We're coming. Ooh, doo-doo-doo-doo. Ring-ding-ding-ding. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. All right, guys, it's time to get to it. It's our best and worst celebrities. Thanks for joining us again on MovieBlab. If you're just tuning in, we just had 2 incredible celebrity guests join the show. That's of course Tom Cruise and that's Tom Cruise and of course Philip Seymour Hubbard. Anyway. Guys, let's talk about these specific actors. We're going to talk about our best Scientologist actors. They're all good. I mean, they're all super talented and popular, right? So, oh, sorry, the sound is all the way down. Now I can hear you. That's why y'all are being so quiet. Hilarious. What were you saying?
If you're a Scientologist and you're an actor, you are obviously fantastically talented. It only makes sense. They go hand in hand.
They give the best acting lessons there, I guess.
They do. They really teach you to emote, to project. You know, ooh, ah.
Yeah, Cragg,
so it's good school.
Do you agree?
Yeah, you know, and anytime anyone wants to come after any actors that are associated with Scientology, we will destroy you with our team of lawyers.
Yes, exactly.
Least.
Which is obviously like not something that we're risking at all.
No.
Because we love Scientology.
Right, we love Scientology, and we're very incredibly popular within the industry.
Yes.
So
Elizabeth Moss is a big fan of the show.
Yes.
She couldn't make it today because she's shooting the new Zoom version of Handmaid's Tale. So,
Ooh.
yeah. Sorry, I wasn't in my mic.
Exciting one.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to that reunion, Zoom reunion.
What a pleasure to have Tom Cruise on. I kind of felt on the spot. Do you know that he was the only Scientologist to receive the Freedom Medal of Valor?
Wow.
I did know that, David, yes.
Oh,
My
the
goodness. I
government?
wonder if
From the government?
he ever... No, from the church. The church
they gave
has
it to
a
him.
Medal of Valor. Yes.
Yeah,
wow.
it's
That's
the
way
highest
more important
award.
than the government.
Yeah, it's the highest award one can receive in the Church of Scientology, and he got it because we sort of touched on this a little bit when we were talking to Tom, but they had done the math and they figured out through all of Mr. Cruise's meetings with global leaders and advocates and activists,
He's so connected to the whole world,
and all of his films and everything that he has. Spread the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard to over 1 billion people across the world. And so that is why he received the, what was it called, David? The Freedom Medal of Valor?
Freedom Medal of Honor of
exactly so.
Org.
It's incredible. And that man just does so much, not just for the church, but for the world. I mean, have you ever seen Tom Cruise not smile? That in itself just speaks volumes on how much the church can just bring to your personal life. Have you ever seen him angry outside of a movie, outside of playing a role? He is always joyous. He's always jumping up and down on couches.
And he dates beautiful women. I mean, Cragg mentioned earlier that they gave him a girlfriend.
They did give him a girlfriend.
Who can imagine what else they gave him, I mean, Tom Cruise isn't free, right? And neither is Scientology. And that's the way religion should be, right, guys?
Right. 100%. And you know who did not agree with this?
Who?
Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, he once went to a Scientology center in LA, and he came out and said, "Fork those people. There's no way I'll ever get involved with those sons of Bitcoin group. All they want is my money." Well, of course they want his money, because they want to help him. How else would they help him?
I hate when... Yeah, go ahead.
But don't worry, the Church of Scientology won in the end when his daughter, Lisa Marie Preslely, joined.
Oh,
the Church
I
of
see.
Scientology.
They had the last laugh.
Oh, so yeah, they're like, well, got your daughter. We'll take your firstborn. How's that? That's why you don't fuck with us over here in Scientology. God, guys, as this episode is progressing, I feel like I'm having a serious arc right now of just going from, everything we're talking about is just convincing me how excellent of a religion this is, and it's not even a religion. It's other stuff. So, it's more of a way of life, or but it's still tax deductible. Tax-free.
Tax-exempt, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't...
in the comments and let us know how much sense that makes to you.
Yeah, there was a while where the IRS was fighting the Church of Scientology. I mean, famously in its conception, the IRS had been going after Mr. Hubbard for years. But after a number of lawsuits brought up by the Church of Scientology against the IRS saw the error in their ways and decided to get the church to drop all of their lawsuits, which the church would have clearly won, that they would give the Church of Scientology tax exemption status. And hence the war was over. And now the Church of Scientology and the IRS, they're buddies.
Sometimes all it takes is just a little bit of intimidation, right, guys?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta shake someone down.
A little bit of this. A little bit of this. A little bit of this. Yeah. Yeah. Violence is the answer. That's what I'm learning from Scientology.
Well, should we start talking about the best and worst Scientologists in Hollywood?
I think it's totally time. Here we go, guys. That's right. We are breaking down the best and worst Scientologist actors. That's right, the best and the worst. And as new Scientologists, we have this was a hard decision to make. And as we explained earlier, there's some fantastic talent out there. So let's see what Matt Cragg has as his pick for the best Scientologist actor of all time. Are you ready, buddy?
Yeah.
Here we go. What you got for us?
Drum roll, please.
Oh yes, sir. You want to do a little hype first? Let's do a little hype. First.
Yeah. I'm gonna build them up. We've been talking about this man a lot today, and I'm sure that you all know who he is. He is the star of the big screen. He has been in a numerous number of great films. Is one of the highest paid actors of all time. A rich man in wallet and soul.
That's the kind of man I like.
A man who has done a lot for the church, and the church has done a lot for him in turn. I'm talking, of course, about the recipient of the Freedom Medal of Valor,
yes.
Mr. Tom Cruise.
Oh my gosh. Tom Cruise, everyone.
Listen, when you're talking about Tom Cruise, he has been in so many great movies.
Yes.
Mission Impossible franchise, it's fantastic. Top Gun is another great one. Eyes Wide Shut, directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Don't stop naming his films. There's so many, and they've all made so much money that he's given to the church. Hallelujah!
He has done so many great things. Let me pull up some more of
good.
Tom's anthology, if you will. One moment, please.
No problem.
He is Jack Reacher movies, Mission Impossible, Valkyrie, War of the Worlds, Rock of Ages, The Mummy, Tropic Thunder, Austin Powers in Goldfinger, Vanilla Sky, Magnolia, The Firm, Interview with the Vampire, A Few Good Men, Days of Thunder, Born on the 4th of July, Cocktail, The Color of Money, Rain Man, The Outsiders, Risky Business. I could go on and on.
And he's been a Scientologist since when, I wonder? Since like the beginning, right? He was an early member.
The 1990s. Early 90s.
I wonder what happened to Tom Cruise that really inspired him.
He joined the church in the 90s. His first wife, Mimi Rogers, introduced him to the Church of Scientology. They divorced 3 years later, but Tom stuck with the church, and since then has really expelled a lot of thetans from his body. That's for sure.
Thank God he did that. Thank Xenu or whoever.
Tom is charismatic.
Yes. Why do you love Tom so much? Yeah.
He is likable. He's handsome. He's a short king. You know, he does a lot for all of us short guys out there. I'm
10 feet tall.
He does all of his own stunts, which I like and find very impressive.
I like
sure, he has criticized psychology. Sure, he criticized Brooke Shields for her use of an antidepressant after her recovery from postpartum depression.
Oh, I mean, she should be criticized. She's using drugs, and drugs are bad. Drugs give you thetans, and thetans give you death.
Yes, I agree. And, Cruise is a true hero.
Yes.
He's an advocate for the Church of Scientology.
Oh, and thank God he has so much power and so much.
He lobbies for the church consistently.
And
who doesn't want to be like Tom Cruise, right, guys?
And despite having a number of suppressive people in his life who have tried to pull him away from the church, such as Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes, he has remained steadfast and continues to provide labor for the members of Sea Org to do lawn work around his house, or to throw him birthday parties.
It's so bored without
party.
And they always greet the man with a smile. So who are you to tell me that Scientology practices abusive labor practices?
Yeah, just because people are willing to work 24 hours straight for no pay,
30 cents an hour,
but here's what they're getting. They're getting to be probably an acre or two away from Tom.
It's true.
Awesome. Maybe more.
He has negative thetan levels, from what I hear. The fact that he's been elevated to such a status that he just removes the thetans from other people.
That's why he drives cars so good. That's why he flies planes so good. It makes perfect sense. Because it's the negative thetans, so he literally can't die. He can't die.
Cannot. And you know what I was thinking too? Just from his stature and all of these movies that he's done, now that we have to watch all of these movies from every single frame, we should create a yearly or a bi-yearly maybe award show that could be called the Cruisies. And he can stand up there, paint him gold, and hand them out, usually probably to Tom Cruise every year, but he deserves it. I mean, he deserves a Cruisie.
Who is your best Scientologist?
Tom Cruise was a close second, but for me, it had to be Travolta. I think that Travolta is maybe that quiet, unsung hero. He's always in the background. He's doing his thing. He's not really in your face kind of Scientologist. For him, it's very personal, and I can appreciate that. I can respect that.
He's been a Scientologist for a very long time, too.
45 years, right.
45 years, yeah. He first got involved in the 70s.
I think he was shooting a movie, Durango, in Mexico. And somebody gave the Devil's Reign, I believe, in Durango, Mexico, that was shooting out there. And somebody gave him Dianetics, and he wasn't dyslexic like Tom Cruise, so he didn't need his wife to read it to him. And he fell in love immediately. And he stuck with it. And I think that what I really appreciate about his devotion to the church is that no matter what he's gone through on a personal level, through his career, I mean, he's had ups and downs, and he has always been steadfast in that belief.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it. You can see it in his work. You know, he went to the church. Hey, guys, I didn't have a lot of work in the 80s. Well, bing, bam, boom in the 90s. He just had hit after hit after hit. Whether it was Face Off with our favorite Nick Cage.
We just covered in a previous episode. Was
fantastic movie.
It's actually featured on our Facebook page right now, facebook.com/MovieBlab. What were you saying?
I was going to mention a few of his other, Primary Colors, A Civil Action, Get Shorty.
Yes.
Classics.
Oh, man. And he made a comeback. He really made a comeback. Probably thanks to the work he did to lose more thetans.
I'd say most likely.
So just due to some intensive auditing sessions, he probably brought himself back into the favor of Hollywood, I would say.
And while he hasn't maybe brought so many devout followers into the church, he's still done a lot on behalf of the church. A decade ago, you remember there was a crazy earthquake in Haiti. Well, this great Travolta, he flew a Boeing 707 full of supplies and full of Scientology volunteers, ministers, and doctors down to that disaster area to go help them and spread the word of Xenu. And why did he choose the Boeings? Because that was Xenu's favorite type of aircraft. And, it takes a really special kind of man to have that vision and to not necessarily take a lot of praise for it. He is willing to be that right-hand man. He's willing to play in the shadows behind the curtain and just get things done. And that's why he's my number one.
I think it's a perfect
That's a great pick. It's a great pick, David.
It's a hard decision between the two, like you were saying, but he needs his due because just like John, he's supporting with every movie he's in. A good piece of that is going to go to supporting Scientology, an amazing, fantastic religion.
And, people have alleged that the only reason John Travolta hasn't left the Church of Scientology is because of information he has indulged about himself during auditing sessions, about his possible homosexual behavior. And I think that's ludicrous. The Church of Scientology would never use things that people admit in auditing sessions against them to hold them against their will, or drive a stake in families and friends, and even if John was aware of some sort of pattern of abuse, he probably would have said something if that existed at all.
People make up stuff about Scientology all the time, I'm sure.
They love doing that. Absolutely.
That's why we're giving you guys the truth. Right?
Exactly. A man like Travolta, if he was so insecure in his sexuality, would he have played a role or a character that he did in Hair? I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't track.
Yeah, I agree.
So to me, yeah, it's Travolta or die.
All right.
Or Tom Cruise. I could be okay with Tom.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite Scientologist actor, Andrew?
My favorite Scientologist actor, thanks for asking, Cragg, is the one and only Nancy Cartwright, the voice of the many voices on The Simpsons, including Lisa Simpson,
Bart,
and Bart Simpson, or just Bart Simpson.
I think just Bart. I don't think she does Lisa.
Oh, right. The other chick does Lisa. Okay, sorry. Bart Simpson, the iconic Bart Simpson. She's one of the highest paid voice actresses in the business, and has been, and probably is making so much money off of The Simpsons. I don't believe they've ever said a bad thing about Scientology. I think maybe they did once, and she threatened to walk out, which is the right thing to do.
She is a huge supporter of Scientology and has, over the years, given millions of dollars to the church to help spread the word of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard.
Great.
Yes. Wow. That reminds me a little bit of Isaac Hayes. He was a great Scientologist. Bless his soul. May he rest peacefully with Xenu. He was one of the character voice actors on South Park, if you remember. He played Chef. And similarly, he wasn't too pleased when the South Park creators started poking fun at our great religion.
How dare
and
they
he
make
eventually
fun?
left.
How
Left the
dare
show,
they make
yeah.
fun?
He left the show because of it. Exactly so.
Well,
Good
what-
for him to stand up for his
Yes,
beliefs, for
exactly.
his religion, for his people.
I'm sure he wasn't even forced into that decision. I'm sure he found no humor in it whatsoever, and it wasn't the backlash that made him quit. I mean, there's a lot at stake there.
I think before we go on to cover who we think were the worst actors, or the worst Scientologist actors, or Scientology members of Hollywood, I think we should give a couple of honorable mentions.
Absolutely, I'd love to. If you guys have the time.
Obviously, Elizabeth Moss is someone we've talked a lot about,
love
famous
you,
for Mad Men and Handmaid's Tale.
One of the most famous
the most
female
recent,
Scientologists.
her most recent film, The Invisible Man.
Yep.
She's great. She is she's a big hit. She's been quoted as saying, "Many of my church's stances and concepts are grossly misunderstood by the media." It's a long list. So you know, she really let people know. Also, the Masterson brothers, Danny and Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Masterson, that 70s show, and Christopher of Malcolm in the Middle.
Two beloved sitcoms.
Yeah, two beloved sitcoms. If we're going to talk more about that 70s show, too, Laura Prepon
She's a
is
Scientologist too.
Scientologist
That's
as
true.
well.
Yes.
Oh, she might have my award for sexiest Scientologist. Just kidding, it's Elizabeth Moss.
Before you give out the award for sexy Scientologist, don't forget about Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley. I grew up loving her and thinking she's hilarious.
You know,
Little did I know she
says-
was a member of the religion that I would ultimately commit
Join.
to for the rest of my life.
She says, to tell you the honest to God truth, without Scientology, I would be dead. So I can personally highly recommend it.
God, and there's no other ways to save one's life. That's the good thing. You don't you have to pay the money and you have to do their program because there's no other way to do it. Other people are going to give you drugs to help you with your depression. Other people are going to tell you, hey, you know, you're sick, take this cough medicine or take this Aleve for your headache. But they're fucking wrong. Or they're going to say, you're having a hard time, go seek out a therapist. And you're going to say, no. And then you're going to write them a letter that says, we're never talking again. And that's how you do it. And that's how you show Scientology that you're not just here for all the perks.
That's what Tom Cruise did with Spielberg. So, hey, Spielberg, you're one of the greatest directors, but you're tossing my name around with psychiatrists. And
You're a suppressive person.
Exactly so.
Don't do
Not
that.
okay.
A couple other honorable mentions here. Jenna Elfman.
Yeah, Dharma and Greg.
Dharma and Greg, correct. And the famous mid-2000s rom-com, Keeping the Faith. She says, the Celebrity Center is just like the stable datum of growth and sanity. And growing as an artist, it's just like I'm always safe when I come here. Also, here's another quote from another fantastic Scientologist actress, little Miss Juliette Lewis.
Gosh. I recently found out she was a Scientologist, and I was like, that explains why she's so damn cute.
She says, I am no longer stuck in the bottomless pit of despair and apathy.
Oh,
Having
good.
achieved the state of clear is the single most important thing I've done for myself.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yoga doesn't work. Therapy doesn't work. Science doesn't work. What works is Scientology, right, Juliet? Yeah, she says I'm right.
And Matt, did you mention by any chance Vivian Vanessa Kubrick? Stanley Kubrick's
the daughter of Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, were they? Did she have to say goodbye to her father?
I'm not sure. You know, she worked quite a bit with her dad. She was a composer as well as a filmmaker. I personally am not too familiar with her story of how she got involved.
I think she might have joined the church after his death, in the late 90s. So
she was waiting. She didn't.
She didn't have to disconnect. And then one last one I just wanted to mention. We brought him up earlier in the episode, but Mr. Michael Pena.
Oh, Michael Pena.
Star of Crash and the Ant-Man movies. Michael Pena said his involvement with the church made him a, quote, better actor.
Oh, good. Yeah, the acting lessons I think are
As
key.
it always
if you're an
does.
actor in Hollywood, which is pretty rare, but if you are one, then you should definitely go
Minority.
to do Scientology so you can learn how to act. As good
So
as Tom
I-
Cruise or Elizabeth Moss, you know?
Yeah, I think, we've mentioned a lot of the stars
Yes.
of Scientology and a lot of the, their A-list status that they bring along with them.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to give us a good name. Absolutely.
I think we should talk about the suppressive personalities in Hollywood. These former Scientologists who call themselves actors or filmmakers, who they're the worst. These people are the worst, and I think we should talk a little bit more about them. If that's okay with you, Andrew. This is your show. I didn't mean to step on your heels.
This is our show. This is
I just
everyone.
get-
We're all a part of MovieBlab, and I'm currently trying to check on some comments. So
Great.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
I feel very strongly about this.
Yes.
The person I consider
Get
to be
passionate.
enemy number one as the worst person in Hollywood is one Mr. Paul Haggis.
Oh,
Let him have it.
let him
Come
have
on,
it.
Paul Haggis.
He's the
Let him have it.
worst.
Paul
Why is
Haggis,
he the worst, Cragg?
Paul Haggis used to be a devoted Scientologist.
He left?
When he was a Scientologist, he wrote such films as $1 Million Baby, Crash, Casino Royale, The
Yes.
Flags of Our Fathers,
Yep.
Quantum of Solace. And then the man up and leaves the Church of Scientology, says that for 34 years he was involved in a cult,
No fucking
which is
way.
absolutely ridiculous. And then
Please.
goes
You
on
don't serve punch.
goes on an HBO documentary to tell all and make up a bunch of secrets about the Church of Scientology that are absolute nonsense.
HBO should stand for hella big lies. They should change it to HBL. you know?
HBL, yep, hella big lies. And just because Going Clear, the 2015 documentary, was a big hit at Sundance, and was a huge HBO
Was
documentary
critically acclaimed across the board.
directed by Alex Gibney, who is considered to be one of the best
Alex Gibney,
documentarians.
a terrible filmmaker. I hate
A
all
terrible
of his movies.
filmmaker. Enron, Smartest Guys in the Room. That movie sucked. The Armstrong Lie. That movie sucked. But none of his movies suck more than Going Clear, in which he took a good man and Paul Haggis and abused him and made Paul Haggis become one of the worst people in all of Hollywood by going against his Scientology teachings and upbringings. It really just destroyed a good man's reputation. And that's why I think Paul Haggis is... and
The
you can
worst
kind of see Alex
Scientologist.
Gibney too, but Paul Haggis is the worst Scientologist in my opinion.
I 100% agree with that, except
All right.
not exactly. Go ahead, David. Who do you?
I mean, on my short list, I had, as I mentioned earlier, Elvis Presley, but he was never really in the church. He never even dabbled. He just stepped in and out. But I think on the top of my list,
maybe if he had joined the church, he would have like
continued his career,
written
not died out in
yeah,
Vegas.
he wouldn't have died on the toilet, one, and he would have written some real original music.
Some bangers that are still played today.
Yeah, some songs
knows what he does.
of relevance. Yeah.
Right. Just shook his knees together. I mean, what was that good for? Well, on top of my list, Brad Pitt. Honestly, not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people talk about it. But Brad Pitt, back in the day, he took a number of classes. He claims he just dabbled in it, but it was definitely more than that. And this was the time when Tom Cruise was just being elevated through the church, through the industry. And if Brad Pitt had stayed as he should have,
Ugh.
we would have been unstoppable. We
An
would have
unstoppable
been
duo.
Then they would really be ruling Hollywood even more than they already do.
I'm saying. I mean, if we had both Pitt and Cruise, there's nothing we couldn't have done. We could have probably recreated a fleet of ships that Xenu would have been proud of.
Oh,
We
Xenu
probably
would be
could have
proud.
cleansed the world, if not just continents at a time, of their thetan levels. And so I'm really annoyed that Brad Pitt decided when he left his wife at the time, maybe his girlfriend, Juliette Lewis, he decided to leave the church as well. And that's just really frustrating because when bad things happen to you, that's when you stick with it, you double down.
Yes,
and I was really disappointed that
as we talked about before, when bad things happen to you, that's your fault.
Yes,
when good things happen to you, that's because of Scientology.
Praise Xenu.
100%. And in a similar vein,
Understand?
I don't get it, guys. I'm pissed off. The more we talk about this, the more I love Scientology and the more I hate everyone else.
Well, I'm sorry to make you hate this next person, Andrew, but Seinfeld.
What?
You know, Seinfeld, right before his show blew up, he had been taking classes. This was about 30 years ago.
This is why B-Movie was made, because he wasn't in the church anymore.
Exactly. I mean, what did he do after Seinfeld that's of note?
Nothing.
I mean, he drove around his cars drinking coffee.
Yeah, people hate that show.
If he had still been in the church, we would have been seeing Curb Your Enthusiasm times 10. That show would have been getting Emmy after Emmy. He would have been the richest man in the world at this point. It's really frustrating that, he as well just says he dabbles.
What a waste of a life.
Say the least. He even called it wacko to a certain degree. And yeah, he's a comedian and he can say some strange things, but that's disrespectful. No, we don't call him wacko. We
call him stupid.
Yes, exactly so. Matt gets it.
What do we call him, Matt?
We call him stupid for leaving the church.
Yeah,
that's his own fault. It's his own fault, like we said. Yeah. How about you, Andrew? Anybody from the church that really gets your gears going?
Well, I think I'd like to talk about the worst one, in my opinion.
Uh-oh.
She was number one, guys. She was big. She was like on level 7 or something.
Queen of Queens.
She was the Queen of Kings.
Oh.
Leah Remini. This woman has gone around doing endless interviews on Joe Rogan's podcast, on Howard Stern, on the news, on the morning news, on the newspaper, in the magazines, and she made a whole show where she goes, Scientology brainwashed me, and here's how they did it. Well, okay, listen, the show sucks, okay? It's very boring and not interesting at all to hear the insight, that quote-unquote insight that she has to offer. She's just trying to become Oprah and leveraging the Scientology name as a way to maintain her pathetic career. She's
the
not
only
funny.
thing that she has to hold on to.
She's not talented, and she's a big loudmouth when it comes to Scientology and all the things that she claims are wrong with it. So don't believe her. Just like don't believe in psychology and don't believe in people who don't believe in you, and drugs and fun and freedom.
And paid labor.
And paid labor. Yeah, these are all good.
Oh,
ones.
also being held against your will is a cool thing.
Yeah, it is a cool thing. I feel like, any other, I feel like we've really summed it up. The passion and the I'm exhausted from all of this.
Well, it's just, speaking of free labor, I might segue, if that's all right. Do we have an intern corner by any chance?
Sure do, buddy. That was great. I'm glad that you asked for it.
Fantastic.
And it's coming up right now. Are you guys ready? We'll
Sea
say a little
Org,
bit more
Sea
about,
Org.
Yeah, we're going to ask him if maybe we've convinced him to join. We'll see. But and then at the end, we'll kind of sum up our feelings and with a spiritual speech together, and then we'll call it a night, guys. It's time, of course, for a little game called Intern Quarter. Matt, will you just do us a favor and explain the game?
Yeah, so we have an intern here at MovieBlab. His name is Alex Kahn. And every episode, we give him an opportunity to come on the show and say a little something. We don't know what he's going to say. He hasn't told us in advance what he's going to say.
We're not responsible for what he says, yes.
anything he says. He's going to, all opinions are his own. And he is going to come on, and we give him a little opportunity to make his case, and then we tell him to get out of here. So we're going to listen to what Mr. Alex Kahn has to say here in just a second.
Yes, just a second here. I'm having a little bit of difficulty finding the window. There it is. Alex Kahn. We love Alex. We don't always love what he has to say, but that's okay, y'all. This is America. Am I right? Here we go. That's right, guys. You heard it right here. Thank you, Cragg. That was fantastic. It is time for Intern Corner with Alex Kahn. Here we go. Turn it sideways and away we go. Alex, what is on your mind?
What's on my mind first? I'm not going to join Scientology.
What?
And number two, I was just looking at, like, on my Amazon Instant Video, like, they have, like, recommendations based on my taste. And it's weird. Like, it's, like, Doubts, or it's, like, a great, like, masterpiece of a movie. And then there's, like, a bunch of, like, Child's Play number 3, Friday the 13th, weird faith-based shit. Weird faith-based shit is my shit, by the way. Including, like, God's Not Dead is really stupid and funny. Case for Christ is a decent film, including Erica Christensen, who's a Scientologist. Again, I'm not a Christian, but I think these movies are fucking hilarious. But it's just funny. Like, I have this weird taste, and there are a lot of times where you just don't want to watch, like the majority of the time, I just like to watch shitty
All right,
movies.
guys, that was Intern Corner with Alex Kahn. Thanks, buddy. That was a good stream of consciousness, and it's nice to know what's being recommended to you on Amazon. So
I
thank
like
you
the
for
part.
that, buddy. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh,
Hey, happy birthday!
Yeah.
Ooh.
Happy birthday, bud.
I liked the part where he named a Scientologist.
Yes, that was helpful. You did tie it in somehow. I
you,
don't agree with
Mo-Ron
anything you
Hubbard.
said about Scientology, and you have a lot of thetans in you, and I'm sorry.
You're a suppressive personality, Alex. We
Yeah.
have to disconnect from
We got to work on that. If you're not in Scientology, then you're not in MovieBlab.
fuck you, Andrew.
All right, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
We're gonna have to do a lot of auditing sessions with that guy later.
Bum, 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 bum.
Guys, all jokes aside, I'm really concerned about Alex Kahn. Like, he doesn't seem to be into this whole Scientology thing, and he's our intern. Like, can we continue to let him work for us if he's not going to be a Scientologist? I don't
Well,
know.
I wonder if he's a part of Anonymous. Do you know if Alex Kahn is an Anonymous member? Because Anonymous once trolled the church by sending them tens of thousands of faxes
Sounds
that were
like him.
and they just tried to deplete their ink.
He told me the other
it's-
day, he's like, I'm going to do some trolling. That's what he told me for the show.
I
Oh
wonder.
my God. It all makes sense now.
Yeah,
Listen, we'll sit him down.
We'll audit
We'll send him down to the hole.
Well, we'll put him in. Yeah, we'll lock him into a room and we'll take away all his rights because then he'll be a Scientologist.
And then we'll make him. We'll continue to have him work for free
And we're gonna do it because we love him.
because we love him and we
Yes,
care
and we
about
want him to be a part of something that will help him.
Yes.
He's gonna become the next Tom Cruise,
It's
potentially.
for the greater good.
The next John
Listen,
Travolta.
for his own sake, we're gonna lock him in a dark room. We're gonna have him fight other suppressive people. If he has children, we're gonna separate him from his children, and then we're gonna make him work for hours upon hours for weeks at a time, and not let him tell his friends or family where he is.
He's gonna be,
and that's gonna be for his own good.
yeah, because
He's
he's gonna
gonna
be
be
so
the-
free. He's
He's going to be the recipient of the next Medal of Valor. I can feel it already. He's going to be winning those cruises every year, man.
Yes, exactly. Well,
Got
that
it
was a
made.
great corner. I think it's good to see that, not everyone understands right away. You got to be patient, But in the end, if they don't ultimately convert, then, I don't know what to tell them. Hit the road, Jack, right? No more of this atheism, okay? We're Scientologists here. All right, get out. We'll see how I feel about Scientology tomorrow.
Gotta sleep on it.
Yeah, I'll think about
I'm
it.
kind of over it already.
Yeah, it's fading away. Well, guys, it's been super fun. I'm just going to say this again. The opinions expressed on this show are nothing more than opinions and observations and sarcastic jokes expressed under the authority of the U.S. Constitution and its specific and general legal amendments, including the Sarcasm Amendment. That's right. Believe it or not, nothing we said we actually believe. And we made up and maybe got facts wrong about Scientology. We don't give a fuck, but if you do, just remember that it's our constitutional right. And we are a small show. Please don't sue me. It's all in good fun, guys. You put yourselves out there. You get to collect the money. So in the end, the Scientologists are winning, right?
No.
And I just wanted to say, if any of you haven't, I brought up the movie a couple times on the stream tonight. But if you haven't, do yourself a favor, go out and watch Going Clear, Scientology and the Prison of Belief.
Yeah.
On HBO.
We made a lot of jokes. We made a lot of jokes today, but there are people's lives are ruined by this religion.
Yeah. It's about 2 hours long. It does a great job of explaining the history of Scientology, the transition it's gone through in recent years, and the abuses that many of its members face on a daily basis.
And it's a tragedy that's going on in our country.
It's
right
a horrific
now.
Tragedy that our government has taken turned a blind eye to. So if there's anything you can do to try to get the IRS to revoke Scientology's tax exemption status, please.
There's a lot of groups.
Keep an eye out. There's a lot of groups online.
And we don't have hatred for anyone except the institution of ripping people off, stealing their money, and enslaving them based on a fictional science fiction book.
There's a lot of good people that are trapped.
And talented actors. Yeah.
And talented actors. And it's really it all stems from David Miscavige and the abuses that he puts on to members of the church and even top executives within the church. So all jokes aside, Scientology is absolute bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrible religion, and it's not a religion. It's something that L. Ron Hubbard made up to make money.
Yeah, it's a government-supported fraud.
Yeah.
And our tax dollars, in a sense, we are contributing to Scientology because you know what I mean? It's like they are not paying their share, so our money is.
They have billions of dollars in assets, and they don't spend any of it on. They don't contribute to the government at all. So,
and if you're struggling, if you are in a bad spot, please seek scientific forms of therapy, of help, the basic stuff of reaching out to a friend. All of these things that Scientology doesn't promote. These are the things that you should be doing if you're struggling, especially during this time. And David, anything you wanted to say about Scientology for real?
I was just going to say that, these are crazy times. We're all under quarantine. You should absolutely be social distancing. Yep. If, however, you happen to be sick and you have a non-severe case and you want to go out and about, there's 3 Scientology centers here in New York City, and I'm sure there's a couple in LA too. But other than that, thank you, MovieBlab, for having me on.
Thank you, David. Wow. You said that, not me. And again, it's all in good fun, I hope. Holy shit. I'm going to give that a cougar snarl. Don't go anywhere. Don't go to Scientology. Stay home. Be safe. Watch The Master. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Keep in mind the what's happening when you go see certain media. Keep in mind what your tickets are going towards. Just keep it all in mind. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not going to watch a Tom Cruise movie. I get that, but it's just something. It's important to know where your money's going, guys. Especially when it comes to movies, because you want to spend your money on the best movies. Anyway, those are all our thoughts, right, guys? Sorry for the sanguine. Is that right? ending, sad ending. Did I say it right?
Yeah,
Sanguine Penguin?
yeah, it's serious, I guess. Yeah.
Never used that word out before. You're witnessing it right now. The first use of that. No. But, you know, it's a serious thing that we made a lot of fun of, and it was super seriously very fun to do it. But seriously, we need to do something about this shit. So, with that note, anybody, Matt, Cragg, what do you want to plug?
Make sure to follow me on Twitter.
Oh, wait, I want to hear your review of Going Clear.
Yeah, sure. So I was just going to say, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
On my Twitter, I post on my Letterboxd reviews.
Yep.
I wrote a Letterboxd review this week for Going Clear, Scientology, A Prison of Belief, in which I said, for years, I never understood why anyone would join Scientology. Then I lived in LA for a few months. I was blocks away from their big Hollywood center. Something about being in California made me want to give them hundreds of thousands of dollars to lock me up in a double-wide trailer to participate in a fight club. I decided it would be easier to just leave California.
Another fantastic one, maybe one of your best. I loved that.
Thank you. So, yeah, make sure you follow me on Twitter. You'll see all my Letterboxd reviews.
Yeah, they're all really good.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Yes. David Maire, what do you want to plug? Thanks again, Cragg.
Sure.
I'll plug dmnightmare.com. New website is out. Follow me on Instagram as well, dmnightmare, and Facebook at Airbed.
And he's a director and a producer, and that's the kind of shit people should contact you for, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Creative.
baby. He does it all. He does it for me as a filmmaker. He's the man. The man. All right, guys. It's been super fun. I'm going to, of course, plug MovieBlab. That's right. It's the show you've just been watching, if you didn't notice. But we had a lot of fun today. And it's a brave show we did, and I'm proud of it. So, guys, go home and be safe. Stay home. Be safe. And we will see you tomorrow for a special bros-only version of Movie Jeopardy. That's right, guys. It's going to be a fun one. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night and stay tuned. Nerd out, all that good stuff. Have I said all my catchphrases? Wacky whoa! That's a new one I just invented. Wacky, wacky whoa! All right, peace and love, guys.
Salute to Mr. Hubbard.
Hey, everybody, I'm Andrew Edison, and you're tuned in
To MovieBlab.
Reading it loud and clear. The clock has started. The clock has started.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching MovieBlab. It was super fun. We made fun of Scientology, but we also talked real at the end. It was great. Tomorrow we're going to have Movie Jeopardy. We love you. Subscribe, like, share with your friends, and we'll see you tomorrow for more MovieBlab.
To this podcast.